Welcome back, everybody. This is Politics Unfiltered. I'm your host, Missy. I'm bringing you the raw, real rundown of the political fuckery that is brought to us every day, thanks to this administration. And there has been so much going on, specifically with Mango Mussolini, his health. We've got the algae, everything happening at the reflection pool. We just had his big ass fucking Pride birthday event. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to kind of pivot, okay? And I need everybody to kind of just be on board for this episode of Politics Unfiltered, where we are unpacking Jubilee. Now, a lot of people have different opinions when it comes to Jubilee. I myself personally have so many things I think that they could do differently in order to attract more viewers or a younger audience, or just women in general. So if you don't know what Jubilee is a network that platforms debates via the right or the left. Jubilee is basically reaching out to different people at different times. You can apply to be on Jubilee as well. And you'll see a lot of the same returning people involved in these different discussions, okay? Here's my issue, right? And if you guys know what I'm talking about, the debate that just came out that is between Dean, one of the big debate me bros, and 20 MAGA women. The reason I really wanted to talk about this is because I feel like Jubilee really dropped the ball here when it came to an opportunity to platform an amazing lefty, loony, liberal, progressive woman like myself. Not saying I could have taken the place of this man in this scenario, but there are a lot of incredible women that could have absolutely been in this position. So I'm trying to ask you guys, and maybe, you guys don't feel this way, and that's fine, but I just felt like it would have made a lot more sense to see a woman who's dealing with what we're dealing with, losing rights to our body autonomy, coming after our professions, coming after just a lot of things that we need and deal with daily, day-to-day basis, right? And instead, we're watching Dean. Now, this is nothing personally against Dean. This is not a I don't like Dean scenario here on Politics Unfiltered. I just think here's the misstep. One, not a female. It could have been a woman who was debating these other women, because we're the ones who are dealing with these things that are happening. And I would like to look directly in the face of these loser women who voted against their own fucking rights, who are like, yes, daddy, I'll do whatever you say. They're the ones who literally are like, we just want to be in the kitchen. We don't want to be leaders. We don't want to be spokespeople. We don't want to be CEOs. Then, bitch, what are you doing on a Jubilee stage? Make it make sense. What are we doing here? You guys don't want to be in the center of all this. You don't think women deserve a voice? Then shut the fuck up. Honestly, let's start there. And as a woman, someone who is fighting for my rights, my daughter's rights, and these losers who are there, I'm actually fighting for your rights as well. That's the shitty end of the stick for me, but that's what happens when you're fighting for women's rights. It's all women. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. And one day you loser hagas are going to wake up and go, oh, fuck, this affects me too. But Mango Mussolini told me I'd be okay. Yeah, well, he fucking lied. He lied. Anyways, I would have fucking loved to just be in there and looking another woman in the face, and you tell me why you think it's okay that you can control what happens in my uterus. Excuse me? You want to be in the kitchen? You go to the kitchen. I want to be out here fighting for our rights. That's what I'm going to do. I don't have to sign a permission slip before I record this video or before I talk about anything. I don't have to do that. And here's the kicker for you MAGA women. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm an advocate. I'm doing this. I'm taking care of the family. You can do it all. You can be educated and have a family. You can be an entrepreneur and have a family. So stop listening to this nonsense that these women are putting out. And, that's another flip of Jubilee. I feel like they just platform misinformation and negative information and indoctrination because so many of the audience will be young women listening to this or confused women, on the fence women who aren't sure, are going to be listening to this debate and they're going to hear a man directing women on how they should feel. And if you know me, you know my platform. Fuck the patriarchy. I don't care if you're right or left. It's all men till it's no men. Okay? Misogyny exists, doesn't matter the party. And I was disappointed to see the misogyny come out, but not surprised. So for this episode, we're just going to watch some of these different debates between Dean and these women, and we're going to unpack them together. These women are out of their fucking mind. So I understand energy being met with energy that's being given. However, there is a way to deliver information and maybe even some shade or whatever without the misogyny. And that's what I have a problem with in some of these clips coming out from the debate. But anyways, here we go.
Because it's a more masculine thing, it takes more masculine traits.
Could you
To
answer my
look
question?
at the blood. I said yes, but I want to ask you,
I
would
have
you
to hop in
agree
here.
that men are more oppressed today than women? Men are told that they're toxic for being masculine. The only laws that prevent any gender
Please
from
don't
getting
vote
a
her
role,
out. I need to respond.
we have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking
Okay.
opportunities away from men.
Okay.
You are
You just-
oppressed
you just-
more than me.
This chick is crazy. Okay, listen, I think that you're crazy because you just said that I'm more oppressed than you, while also claiming that I'm a better leader than you after making the argument that disproportionately men have been in positions of leadership throughout history when leadership is what grants power. But anyways, insanity. Listen, I asked you a question. I said, do you think that men are better at surgery than women? Because 85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women. The reason why I asked this question is because you made the claim that men are better at leading than women because a vast majority of leaders have been men. You said, yes, Dean, because a vast majority of surgeons are men, therefore men are better. The science says, no, men are actually worse at surgery. So the American Medical Association did a study in conjunction with the Journal of the American Medical Association. They did this study on 1.4 million patients over 6 continents in 14 years. And what they determined consistently is that when we account for every single confounding variable that could possibly exist, every single time, men are significantly more likely to kill a patient on the operating table or to give them negative postoperative outcomes in comparison to women. It is one of the most well-accredited studies ever conducted in human history that has reasonably concluded that women are better at surgery than men, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. And this is exactly what debunks your claim that if a field is overrepresented by men, that therefore men are better at performing in it.
It's reflective of our natural desires and what men and women are naturally drawn to.
But women are better at surgery, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. That completely debunks your argument.
Sure, that could be a thing, but I'm saying
So
that naturally men are drawn towards roles of risk and provision. That's because of innate biological characteristics.
But women are better at
surgery.
surgery.
And I said that you're oppressed because of society telling you that you need to be a beta woke man. You are not
What the fuck?
like oppressed as a leader. Like instinctually, you want to lead. You want to teach me. That's because of your nature, and I appreciate that very much. But I disagree with your claims.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to.
Let's unpack a little bit of that real quick, right? We can all agree on a few things, right? One, I don't like how he constantly was interrupting her. And I think if we're going to behave in a way that we're not showing misogyny, that can't happen, right? I've been on many debate panels. I've been around many men. I've been told to literally shut my cocksucker. Yeah, verbatim from a MAGA man because I interrupted him and said, hey, that's misinformation. And he didn't like that. But just because he's trying to stop her in her tracks, what she's saying, it's still not okay because she's going to get her point across either way, right? Anyways, she's crazy. That is definitely true, okay? Here's the thing that I don't get. As a woman, why would you downplay a woman's career choice? Why would you expect men to be better at something when you're a woman? being a mother to a daughter, I find it so important to empower her and help her understand how amazing we are as women. I mean, we literally fucking carry and birth children. We do. Our bodies literally do that. And then our bodies get done with that. And then we navigate in taking care of the survival of that child. Meanwhile, doing everything else that we need to do. So when I see women like this girl who's obviously very, very confused, I feel sad. I feel sad that someone has explained to her that women are less than men, especially in the profession of, let's say, a surgeon, where Dean was able to, fact check and was able to show her, hey, this is what it shows. Men are worse via data in surgeries. They cause more harm than women do. And she still wouldn't accept it. Also, very crazy that these women think society is telling men to be betas. I actually think it's the opposite. We have the red pill situation going on with all these debate me bros, with T Pussa, with all these podcasts. And all of the rhetoric is you got to be a strong alpha male. You got to work construction. You got to wear tight Wranglers. You got to be manly. That's pushing more of an alpha narrative, more of telling men, you need to be stronger, you need to be more alpha. There's nothing telling men to be woke because, by the way, I'd rather be awake than asleep to what's happening. But woke is not a thing. It's just being open and understanding. Why are they so threatened by that thought? What is so threatening about men being open? That to me is a bigger question that needs to be answered. But she's a Looney Tune for sure. There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, I might not have all of these little things that you remember, but what
The
I
hat.
know is common sense. And Biden's administration is not common sense.
Oh my
So, ma'am, the
God.
reason why I picked you to come up to the microphone, knowing that it'd be a disaster, is because I think that you are a
Misogyny.
very accurate representation of where the right is at today in modern political discourse and American politics. I think that you and many others are clueless people who don't know what they're talking about, have done no previous investigation or research into the American political system, can't even name a bill that Biden passed that you disagree with, yet you think he's a devil, and blame Obama for all of your problems, including the FBI, quote unquote, going into the J6 riots 4 years after his administration was over. And I think that it is very important for you, me, everybody in the circle, and everybody watching at home to start caring about the world that we live in, start caring about critical thought, and do.
Okay, I gotta pause this. I have to. I'm sorry. Is this like a whole advertisement for him? And I know the people that ride for him are going to come for me. Please just understand that the optics are like, you're trying to literally talk to these women. You're trying to have this discussion so that other people who are watching are seeing, oh my God, this is what the MAGA women, HAGA women think, right? I get that. But when you're like, in the audience, what the fuck? It just doesn't seem genuine to me. It seems so like, and by the way, I do debates from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. to TikTok. I mean, I don't know. It's just giving fake. It's giving fake. I don't know. Let's finish.
Investigative research into our beliefs and why we believe them before our world is gone.
Like he keeps looking at the camera. Look at her. You're speaking to her. Next up, we're going to get into abortion. You guys, if you're here, you know my stance on that. I believe every woman, individual should be able to make any choice they need to. I also have this kind of hot take as well that might not go over, but I don't think men should be talking about abortion. I think if you want to say, hey, we support you, do what you want with your body autonomy, great. But I don't think the discussion should continue past that. I just think men should shut the fuck up when it comes to the topic of abortion. I would have loved to have been in this seat with this woman right here because I would have eaten her alive. A woman that wants to control another woman's uterus is on another level of crazy. All right.
Why should abortion be illegal?
Well, let me ask you something. Abortion is legal here. What procedure do you prefer? The suction, the dye, and the what is it?
I don't know. The most brutalistic, gross one where we chop up all their limbs and throw them in the trash. Listen.
Really, that's gross.
Okay.
That is so
That was
gross.
I know I'm
Necessary.
rage baiting you. Listen,
I have 4 children,
but
a set of twins. I would never ever do that to my children.
And I
would
think-
you have your girlfriend do that to your child?
well, ultimately, I think it's a
Or
choice
do you have a
of-
girlfriend?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Ultimately, I think that it's a choice of the woman. So if
Okay.
you want to tell me that you never get an abortion,
No,
all
I've
the
never
power
had
to you. I love that for you because that's your choice, and I think that's great. But listen, I don't think that abortion is murder because I don't think that there's any trait that we could identify to be true of a fetus in which we fundamentally would value enough to grant the right to life. The last person on the mic said, well, fundamentally, all humans have the same right to life. And that's something that we hear from a lot of pro-lifers. As I was attempting to communicate to her, everybody rejects that view in one way or another. So I want to hear your argument insofar as why it's morally wrong for a woman to get an abortion outside of its gross. Because
Okay.
grotesqueness doesn't arbitrate morality. Like, taking a shit's pretty gross. Shit smells like shit, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to say it's morally wrong to take a shit, even though it's gross. So what's the argument that abortion is wrong?
Let me just ask you this. Everyone's really, really focused on, it should be the right for every woman. Why don't you think about it the other way and think about why don't you prevent all these women who don't want to have babies? Why aren't you guys helping them prevent pregnancies?
We do.
100% of abortions are preventable with vasectomies. So I'm down with that.
Yes, we
100%.
should.
And we need access to comprehensive sex ed in schools. We need free and fair access to
In schools?
Yeah, of course.
At what age?
Is at an age appropriate level. I would say starting in late middle school because I was in middle school. You were in middle school. We were all in middle school. The second thing that I think is also important here would be free and fair access to contraceptives, and we should also try to find ways to limit financial instability in young women and young men because the leading cause of women accessing abortion is financial instability. But you still haven't answered the question, and you've been up here for a while.
Okay.
I want to hear why you think that abortion is wrong. I think that you're struggling to come up with an argument.
Because it is murder.
And the definition of
It is-
murder would be the unjust termination of a human life. Explain why you think it's unjust.
First of all, a woman who has a pregnancy, a baby in there, they have the right to life too.
What grants the fetus the right to life?
What grants it just that it's been conceived?
Or the fact that it's a human?
It is a human.
Okay, so brain dead patients have the right to life too?
So what brain dead?
Yeah, they're human.
You know what? I've heard of brain dead humans coming out of comas.
Then they're not brain dead. The definition of brain death is irreversible cessation of all cognitive function. Do humans who are biologically alive because of machines with irreversible cessation of all cognitive function have the right to life?
I haven't really researched that. So if there was no hope, possibly, they should. I mean, that's not my decision to make.
That means
That's
it's somebody's
a family
choice?
member's.
Okay, so
that's
you
not
think
my
it should be up to the choice of the family to kill a human
You know what?
that doesn't
well,
have the right
that
to life?
doesn't mean.
So you don't think that
but
all
if they,
humans have
but
the
if
right
they're
to life? So
brain
what is a
dead,
fetus?
but if they're brain dead, are they really alive?
Yes, biologically they are.
You know what? That's a determination that I would have to take with a medical doctor.
Say the same thing about women for abortion then.
No, I don't believe that a woman has that even right. That a woman should be
wild
able
as
to get an
fuck.
abortion here in California.
Now let's move to something different.
Floor's
he didn't
yours.
do that,
Why do
so-
you support Trump?
I think that he's obviously done a lot of things. I can't say
simple
he's a perfect
patches?
person,
That
but
was
I
a
do think he
choice.
has done things to benefit us.
What is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden?
Closing the borders.
So that's not a macroeconomic indicator.
Yeah,
a
it is.
macroeconomic indicator would be something like GDP growth, unemployment, inflation, jobs reports. And by definition, a macroeconomic indicator is just simply a gauge that we could use to determine the health of the economy overall. So
Yes,
once again,
absolutely.
speaking about GDP growth, inflation, like wages,
Well,
so on and
health
so
of
forth.
the economy. If
what's
I can dive into that.
one indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago under Biden.
The amount of drug use and fentanyl in society has gone down
Okay.
miraculously because he has
That's-
closed the border and illegal drugs are no longer allowed to come in.
You understand the question I'm
telling
asking you?
them this
Yeah, I do,
information?
and I'm answering it.
So the amount of people that use drugs in society could, of course, influence macroeconomic variables. Like if everybody was drugged up all the time, nobody could go to work, right? So therefore, the macroeconomic indicator of like unemployment would be really high. Okay, so it's not directly the macroeconomic indicator, but rather it's an influence of the indicators. So directly, what is one macroeconomic indicator that's better off today than it was a year and a half ago? Keep it in mind that macroeconomic indicators
Oh my
are
God,
things
he's
like
giving me a
inflation,
headache.
GDP growth, wage growth, real median wages, unemployment, job reports, so on and so forth.
Same thing. I'm going to go with drug use.
Dude. Okay.
Dude.
Listen,
girl.
so what macroeconomic indicators
How
did drug
old is
use
she?
influence? Are you saying that now we have like a
can
lower
go with
level of
another thing about
unemployment
the
because of
border
that?
by closing the border and not allowing illegal people in
Border's
here,
not
giving me
closed.
and so many other people job opportunities that they weren't allowed to have before because
Yeah.
companies were employing illegal immigrants, just like
So
the
sad.
weed farm in California that Newsom was directly supporting. They
Yeah.
had children at the age of 9 years old illegally here working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are no longer allowed here, giving job opportunities to others.
Just want to
That
pause
is
it there.
benefiting the economy.
So she's talking about illegal children, which I don't refer to immigrants that way that have and or don't have correct documentation. They're undocumented immigrants. No one is illegal on stolen land. Thank you very much, pimple patch lady, young girl. I just want people to understand that any children they're talking about in this scenario, if they were picked up by ICE, which fuck ICE, they're in concentration camps now. So when these women are sitting here and talking about potentially the fact that a 9-year-old was taken at a farm or something like that, it's because the parents were working there. It's because the parents were working and they brought their children with them. And on a day that they were going to make money for their family so they could feed their family and live the quote American dream, they were all detained. And their children were taken to the Dilley Detention Center and chained, shackled, probably in their clothes, maybe in their pajamas with their backpack. And losers like this girl, they don't care. They literally don't care. Let's see what else.
Others. That is benefiting the economy.
Okay.
Period.
So is that why we added the lowest amount of jobs to the economy in 20 years, ignoring recessions last year under Trump? Is that why we have the highest
said
level of
they're opening
unemployment since the
opportunity.
pandemic?
Is it not
So-
opening opportunity?
Yeah,
by,
it's not. The reason
It
why
is.
mass
It
deportation.
is actually. It is.
The reason why
for-
mass deportation doesn't open up job opportunity
So
in America is very
uncomfortable.
simple. Because ultimately, undocumented immigrants as a demographic are very economically productive. They pay over $100 billion in taxes
And
per
those
year
jobs
on
are
the federal,
now
state, and
open for
local
real
level.
Americans
and they
to
pay
have.
in 1.1
Huh?
through.
Let me know an American that's going to get on their hands and knees unless it's knee pads for Donald
Have
Trump.
you ever met an illegal immigrant that pays taxes? I'm sure you haven't.
So my
I like the
source is
fact check, I have to
IRS.
say.
Do you think?
Absolutely. I'm sure they can lie about statistics all the time.
So Donald
And
Trump's IRS is lying about how
It's
much.
not Donald Trump's IRS.
Well, that's what the IRS is saying today. Who's the president?
No, well, the
Who-
statistics. The
do you-
statistics
do you
came
know
in
who
from years
Scott
ago.
Besson
You've
is?
used that since the last time we were
Do-
here.
Do you know who Scott Besson is?
No,
He's the administrator of
What?
the IRS. Do you know who he's appointed by?
Donald Trump. I'm
Donald
going to
Trump.
assume.
And Scott
He's at
Besson
work.
and the IRS under Trump still report that. And listen,
And
it's
so you
not
don't
a
believe that
contestable
removing
fact.
a certain population can allow opportunities for others to come in. You
Because it
realize
makes the economy less productive.
I have family
Yeah.
that are refused opportunities, health care, and
Mm-hmm.
other resources due to
Lies.
the fact that it's oversaturated by people who do not have a citizenship here. And by closing those borders and not allowing those people to come in, it gives them the space to have that because that's what my tax dollars should be paying
So
for.
do you think that undocumented immigrants can access like federal Medicaid, Medicare,
They
so on and so
can,
forth?
actually. They
Do you,
can.
do you know what the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act is?
I actually know that they can because I
Do
have
you know
family
what the
members
Personal
that can,
Work Order
that
and
can perfectly walk
Responsibility
in
Act?
and they can get checks month per month, living month per month,
This is
and we support that.
absolutely
Our
lie
tax
after lie
dollars
after
that
lie.
we pay,
Okay,
we
I have
support.
to stop this. This is exactly why I get frustrated with the platform of Jubilee. Yes, he's fact checking in real time, and yes, we can see that up on the screen. She's literally lying. She is spreading misinformation, but the problem I have is the people who are listening to this debate and they're hearing her. Yeah, see, she said it on Jubilee. That girl said it too. They do take benefits, they do get housing, they do get free medical care. And although there may be fact checking on the screen and you see it or whatever, you're going to have more people who are sludge for brains who go, oh, see, she said it. We heard it. I heard this. Their family told me, and my family, and my sister, and my brother, blah, 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 all anecdotal bullshit with no facts to back it up. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
Lead better than women.
This is
because women have the
embarrassing.
babies, you're emotional, but more important, I have a dad. I have a dad who was very strong, and when I see what President Trump is embodying, I say, and I know that you can roll your eyes.
If you
but
can't
know what
see
my
what I
grandmother
just
used to
did
say,
because
you
you're
roll your,
listening on
cotton
Spotify, I
balls,
just
but you sure can't
slammed
shoot.
my hand into
So,
my head.
Men are strong just
my
like
God.
Trump because in the first 100 days, what did he do? he started writing
jeez.
executive orders.
Yeah.
He started writing executive orders day after day after day after day after day after day. Women would probably say, hey, ooh, let me take a break. That's why.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, listen, clearly I disagree with you about Trump. But that's actually not relevant to my counter argument. I'll tell you why. Because even if Trump was a good leader, that doesn't mean that therefore men are better at leading than women on average. Like, for instance, in the same way that you could give an anecdote of a man that you think is good at leading to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women, well, I could just give an anecdote of the opposite. Hitler was a man, he was a terrible leader, therefore men are worse at leading than women. All right? But clearly that's not how it works, because we cannot attempt to allow an anecdote of what we think about one individual man to then exist as a portrait for a generalization about all men.
Why did you have to say Hitler?
Because he's obviously a bad leader that's a man?
Yeah, and
Do you agree?
the president of the United States, which is the commander-in-chief, Donald J. Trump, is a great leader.
Okay.
And he's a great leader because he won a landslide.
Okay, yeah.
And
So
if he could
true.
run again, he would run a landslide again.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He's not. He's a terrible president. His policy sucks. How about this? What's your favorite Trump policy? I mean, a bill passed through Congress, then signed into law.
I'm a former college coach, and not having men in women's sports.
I'm sorry, what bill was that?
Oh, no.
Well, I'm sorry, what bill was that? I asked you a very specific
We
question.
We got to stop there. That you've been voted out by the
That's
majority.
how they voted her out. Now, this, we're going to end with this is crazy. Yes, I do agree that MAGA, HAGA women are absolutely out of their mind. But this next question and the way these women react have me literally terrified for the future of women. Watch.
Put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
Gross.
If I was married to Donald Trump, yes. And I'd love to be.
I would love to be married
Poll,
to him.
If
All right.
at Donald Trump's, like, you know, when he was in his 40s, if you think he was an attractive man, I just want to get a raise of flags.
This is so concerning.
Keep your flag up if you think he is currently still hot.
What the actual fuck? These women are some of the most insane individuals I have ever heard. And I have talked to quite a few trailer park hagas, as we call them, out in the streets of TikTok. And I'm shocked that some of them said they would sleep with Mango Mussolini. Yuck. I mean, what are we talking about? A catheter in the way, a diaper, a spray tan coming off of you, probably some dentures flying out at you. I mean, what's wrong with these people? These people, these women, I should say, are just like the MAGA men. They're knee pad wearers, they're worshipers, and then they all claim to be Christian at the end of the day, where if anybody who's a Bible thumper knows, you're not supposed to worship anyone else the same way you would worship God. Okay? So this whole mentality of like, he could do no wrong, he's so amazing, he's an alpha male, disgusting, so gross. I'm not surprised at all by what I'm hearing from these women. I do, however, wish I myself could have been there to speak to them, to actually look them in the eyes and say, you don't care about being a woman. And that to me is so fucking sad. I'm disappointed they platformed a man. I'm disappointed that they allowed misogyny. And whether you want to believe it or not, many instances of it I just showed you. Okay? I'm disappointed that there wasn't more important topics instead of the same thing over and over. It's always the immigration, the borders, the this, the that. We should have been talking about the professions. We should have been talking about the movement of TPUSA and women's leadership and women staying in the kitchen. Those are the kinds of things I would have wanted to hear from these women. And then I would have asked them, what has this administration and or the Republican Party ever done for you? What has this party ever done for you? And you know what the response would have been? Crickets, just like that. Exactly. Anyways, I feel like, we're definitely watching these platforming of misinformation and however good debates on Jubilee. I know it goes back and forth and the whole point is to see different perspectives, but I think it's really important in a movement of it's all men till it's no men that we don't allow misogyny on any playing field. Right, left, upside down, inside out, whatever you call it, it shouldn't happen. That doesn't mean that these women aren't sludge. It doesn't mean that I think these women are full of misinformation. They're indoctrinated and they're like obsessed with a politician, wannabe politician at that, right? So that part of it is very concerning to me. But I'm glad that we could break down some of this Jubilee debate, and I'll be interested to see everybody's reaction to it and how they're feeling. So this has been Politics Unfiltered. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You can catch me live over on TikTok Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and once on Sunday. And I will see you guys next time.